So here we go. Got everything ready. This is the back mount plate. Comes with some instructions as well. It's nice, and bolts and hardware. All the nuts are welded in there, which is good. That's what I would do. Alright. This. Where can we put this? A little more room down here. There. This we don't need to open at the moment. This is our MMP, which stands for Magnum Mini Panel. Comes with a 6-foot remote cable. Comes with a 6-foot network cable. The bushing knockout. Comes with screws. It comes with instructions. More screws. Charge controller bracket. And yeah, so pretty cool. Keep all the paperwork together. Some wires already pre-cut. Brackets, we got network cable, and the mini panel. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Instructions. Keep that with the paperwork. We're going to have to build all this stuff, so this is probably the top. Cardboard. Oh, that comes pretty well installed. Place for all this cardboard. Seems like there's going to be a lot of cardboard here. There she comes. It's already got the output breakers. It's got the input breaker, and it's got the main 175 amp disconnect. See inside, she's all wired up already pretty much. Somewhere over here. Daddy? Yeah, buddy. You want the rest of your noodles? So, take a break there and do some lunch. Last box. Battery temperature sensor. Very nice. Another cover. And positive and negative things, plus the stick box. It's heavy. Knockout for the controller. Nice. Got the knockout for the controller. It fits right in there. And then would like to see where they, so we'll be coming off the side of this with the majority of our wires. And I gotta see what they say about this side here. Okay, it does go through the back there, so I'm gonna pop this cover off here soon. Beautiful piece of equipment though. And when I do my other metal plate that's going to go along for the batteries, because the batteries will be on the wall as well, I guess I'm going to extend them. Actually, there is knockouts on the bottom. Maybe I'm just going to, because I want to use my plastic wire tray there, and I'll go from the batteries right across here, and I'll, with the tray, the gutter, whatever, so the batteries will be over along here, and then this will be on, it's like a window that's going to go around. So say there's a window, batteries will be here, and the inverter will be there, and then the connection to the batteries will be in the trough under there. So looking good though. It's actually a lot more put together than I expected it to be. That's good. Anyways, thanks guys. Here's a quick close-up of it. The E-panel. This is the mini E-panel. And you can get the extension if you decide to get another one of these. You get the extension with another backing plate that goes beside. But I don't believe there's enough room in the spot that I'm working with to get that all in there properly. I believe this thing here goes above this. There's a couple of screw holes there. You can see that will probably go in there and there and fit around the inverter to cover everything. Just keeps the dust off and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far. Anyways, thanks guys. Here's a quick look at the inside of this Magnum mini panel. So it's pretty well wired. There's some things I'm gonna remove probably, just because the system I'm doing has already got a lot of things going on with it that I don't need all the extra stuff. Like this ground is bonded to neutral right here, and I have to check the panel, but I believe the sub panel might be grounded to the main panel. So in that case, we already have a link connected. And also, I don't like to have my battery negative tied to the case, so I'll probably be removing this connection here as well. So other than that, the case will be grounded with all the rest of the cases. So I'd like to keep the batteries separate from the cases. And I'll probably be adding a charge controller to this, and I'm not overly happy with this connection here for up to 60 amps. So I'll probably be running a 4-gauge wire from here to here, and then I'll also be using the rest of the terminals for for the solar array. So I do have a couple breakers that fit in here, which will turn off the panels and will also turn off the charge controller. So we will be connecting our PV positive in here, which will then go to the breaker, or to the input breaker, and then to the charge controller, and then the charge controller to the batteries will go from the charge controller to the breaker and to this connection here. So we have a PV connection. Yeah. And this will be also the it's tied to the negative battery post on the opposite side of the shunt, so it won't affect the numbers from the MERC controller. So yeah, it got a little bit of stuff to do, but it'll all work out. And then we got the panel that we're gonna put this controller into. That panel it does come with 50 feet of cable, but I have a 6-foot cable that I'm going to use in there, which makes more sense. Yeah, pretty much straightforward. You know, it comes pretty well installed. There's almost no point of getting it installed at the factory for that extra $500. So honestly, it's a couple bolts, and it makes it a lot heavier. That inverter is pretty heavy, so I'm pretty well thinking I'm gonna install this without that first, and then when I'm ready, I'll just put that on and connect everything up and close everything up. Yeah, and then I also got the controller that's gonna go, the bottom of it will meet the bottom of this, And then it will connect into the wire trough as well. But the wires will go, whatever. I'll probably just go all my wires into this and use these main terminals as my battery main terminals. But yeah. Yeah, pretty straightforward. I'll keep you guys in the loop on how this all gets wired and installed. Anyways, thanks guys. Oh, we're all loaded up here. Believe it or not, picking up this stuff. I broke my transfer case on this thing. I drove it back for about an hour. Here, I'll give you a little look here. You can see the up here is all smashed apart. See, it's all messed up. I drove for another hour like that. So, whatever. Motor still runs, everything still runs. It's just pretty much toast. Well, I'm sure I can get another transfer case. Pretty popular vehicle. But we got a good start. I think I can get the rails up. Yeah, I could probably get the back plate mounted. Got some 2x6s. I'm gonna go this way with the 2x6s, 2 in there. And we'll go from maybe about 1/2 inch on each end, and then all the screws I'll populate every single screw. And yeah, let's see if everything stays on. This is the main guy. I don't want anything to fall off, but should be held on fairly good. The drill and this is the least held on stuff, but just fix her up a little bit, make her a little more driver friendly. I'm only going around the corner, so it's not very far. Anyways, at least get this stuff to the location, and mainly today I want to see if I can get the rails up because it's a beautiful day, and I'll put all the rest of the equipment inside the house. I'll check out the garage roof that it's going on. I don't even think it's insulated or nothing. And I can take some measurements of what else I need to get for wire lengths, and yeah, a little bit of everything. But this is how she's gonna go over there, because my truck is not drivable. Well, it's drivable, but the next time I drive it, it's driving to the mechanic shop or to the scrapyard. We'll see, whichever I can. If I can find a new truck for a reasonable price, I might. But looking around, there isn't too much available. It's kind of a picky market right now. Anyways, guys, beautiful day, no wind, beautiful sky. Power was out yesterday from the crazy windstorm, so I ran the heat and the house overnight because it kept flicking on and off, and I don't like that on the equipment. Appliances, it's hard on that stuff. Anyways, thanks guys. So got rail number 1 up, so we're gonna go three this way, like vertical, and then 3 more underneath it. So these ones will actually be flipped upside down, and all the wiring will go through the middle. Pretty good. I got one that's crooked a bit, but it's very strong. I got it right into the studs, or like into the trusses. Roof is freaking slippery, just like dirty or something. It's a little bit dirty. Sit down a little better. And I didn't get enough, well, I ordered enough, but they didn't seem to give me enough of the legs. So I'm doing 5 legs on each. It's only going to hold 6 panels, so it's it's not a major weight ratio here, but I'm gonna come about 4 inches or so above the rail, and then I'll be like, I don't know, there's 69-inch panels, there's 40-inch gap, so it'll be about 10 inches overhang or so. We'll see. I'd rather hit them in the center, but I gotta kind of hit the studs too, so. But it's working out pretty good. It's pretty easy stuff to do here. Not quite as easy as working with wood, but still pretty easy. But I'm just gonna get the next rail up. Got everything siliconed, even though the feet do have metal legs. Got rubber mounts on them, but I'm gonna silicone them anyways. I don't want anything leaking on my end. And yeah, we'll just put them up this way. The same rail will go the same way on the other one. There's the rail sitting right there. And then I got 2 more to install. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Once I get these up, I can, my next load will be solar panels. And then, yeah, so I got pretty much today and tomorrow that are nice weather days. So I'd like to try and get as much outside stuff done as possible. Already got all the Magnum equipment inside. I've got my 2x6s that are going to go on the cement wall. They're going to get Tapconned right onto the wall. And I can mount all the equipment onto that. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Very easy to do. Now these things, the clips I got just slide in here and we'll suck the panels down. So very easy. Pretty straightforward. Nice and strong. Actually really strong. A lot stronger than I thought. But I'll put up this next rail, and then yeah, pretty much will be it for today. And maybe tomorrow I can bring 3 panels over and install them up here. The clips will be going this way, so pretty straightforward really. Anyways, thanks guys. A quick look at what I'm putting in the roof. So this is what I'm putting in the roof. These are adjustable nuts up here with the nylock on top, and it's also got an Allen key head in there. It's not really focusing, but there's an Allen key in there. And then yeah, so I just use the Allen key on my impact gun. And it's also got a 13 mil. It's all in metric, or standard, by the way. So these 2 nuts are 17 mil, and this one's a 13 mil, and then it's about 4 inch by I'd say it's getting pretty close to 3/8 there of an inch leg. It's going right into a 2x4 truss right through the steel, and then there's another piece of wood that goes across wise of the trusses. I forget what that's called, but I was told it the other day. And yeah, and then some of them, I don't know what's going on. They must not be perfectly square, or it doesn't follow the path. Something's not square, so I'm missing by about I'd say 1/2 inch anyways, past the center, actually past the actual 2x4. So what I'm doing is putting another 2x4 attached to this other 2x4 with some big wood screws, and then I can anchor in to that other 2x4. And then this piece goes on there through the hole, obviously, and then this gets sandwiched, and you got adjustment in here, as well as the rails can be adjusted as well. So these pieces here go on the rails. And they have, here's a rail here. So it's a three-sided and a flat. So these go on the sides. You put this in there, and then you can spin it and it locks. And then I just put them all like that, so it fits in the grooves, so it can't move. And then you just tighten this down. Let's use my impact gun. And then there you go. I won't move up or down. Once it's tight, it won't move up or down. I use my impact gun and actually break through these. So pretty straightforward though. They go really nice actually, especially on I guess it would be alright anyway. You just got to make sure you get these pads so they're straight because of this, right? I did get one that was just a touch crooked, but there's nothing I can really do about it. I'd rather not drill too many holes in the roof. Pretty much I'm getting on the first time, or I'm going inside the attic to put wood in there to make it proper. Only going to do one hole. I'm also using silicone under the, once I drill a pilot hole to make sure I'm close to my mark, and then I fill the area in the hole with silicone, and then I put this through and sandwich it and then smooth it out around the edges. You want it to kind of be as flowing as possible. There will be probably some precipitation going through that area, but I think it's turning out really nice. I did spend a couple hours figuring out where all the trusses were, but they're on 2-foot centers, and some of them start at 20 inches, and it is a bit of a nightmare. So, and they don't seem to be square with the bottom. So I'm just trying my best. Everything's getting very close and it's very strong. I could hang off them, so it's pretty good. And I got all my brackets for the batteries. It's going to be a 10.9 kilowatt hour, so we need 4 for each battery. That's going to be the top bracket and the bottom bracket. Same as on, they're going to be 3.6 kilowatt hour batteries in a row, like side to side, beside each other. And then I'm going to make a cover for all of it. It's going to cover these two, so these won't even be showing. It'll be just a box on the wall. There'll be a hole on the side of it for the wire tray to go, gutter, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, pretty cool. I think it's going to be nice. I even got little terminal blocks instead of making them all soldered together and then putting the plugs on. Each number 1 cell of each group will go to a block, a terminal block. So, and then I'll do all that because the BMS is probably going to be the longest thing that takes to get here. So after that's done, I'll do the BMS last and the negative connection. Worst case scenario, I can bypass the BMS for now. And yeah, see how it goes. Anyways, thanks guys. So this is what I got in today. I got the 2x6s mounted under here, and I used a piece of 3/4 inch drywall or plywood, $100 a sheet. And then the charge controller will go here. I'll keep it flush with the bottom of this. And then the trough will go in here at the bottom. And then the batteries are pretty much going to be right to the wall and to about here. I think I need about 60 inches, which pretty much comes just a little bit before here. So pretty sure I need about that much. I just measure about 20 inches a piece. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty straightforward system. I may put a piece of steel on here just to cover that up for the charge controller. I may even get a piece of bent steel. I'll go maybe like this and then over like this. We'll see. I know I left a little bit extra room for the charge controller. Controller's very light. I got about 12 Tapcons in each 2x6. Right into the cement, the concrete. Very strong. It's not moving anywhere. So yeah, pretty straightforward. I still gotta mount the plate in here, the monitor, and I do have to wire everything up still. I just put it up here today. I use these kind of screws. Wish I had white ones, but I just used what we had. And there's going to be 2 more 2x6s going this way. And I'll probably use another piece of 3/4 to keep it all the same height. Keep it nice and flat. Yeah, going pretty good so far. Happy. Thanks. So this is how I do my spacing of the packs. I just use this threaded rod. It's 5/16 threaded rod. Cut it into 18-inch sections. And for this job, I'm going to need 12 pieces. So I got 30 feet. There's a leftover piece after cutting a length. It's only about I gotta say 10, 12 inches left over. 12 inches. Yeah. So I just mark out 18. I give it 1/8 of an inch for the cut. And yeah. That's pretty much how she goes. Hold 3 packs about 1 inch apart at their closest points to each other. And I space them all with nuts and washers. I got all that stuff as well. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Anyways, this is so a little bit dirty from the shop. Like they're just covered in filth, so I wire wheeled them and gave them a quick WD-40 spray. And we will put it into the drill and hold a rag around it and to get all that oils off. Whatever. Yeah, and I'm gonna set up to do some drilling. All the top and bottom brackets need to be drilled. They all get the same. So I do this one on this side first, and then I'll line them up like this after, and just keep punching it out. I'll make a proper hole in there that fits my punch. Yeah, and I can just get center. I'll clamp it, punch it. Same for all of them. Pretty straightforward. Pretty easy go. It's got a, it's gonna be a 10.9 kilowatt hour battery bank, 48 volts. So it's pretty heavy. Each one of them was like 27 pounds, and 3 would be 9 total, but 3 groups of 3, and they'll all be paralleled. That way I could put the smallest amount of wire on there as possible. I like using the 4-gauge wire on these. I think 3.6 kilowatt hour bank, that's pretty reasonable. You can, if you need more than 100 amps from it, or whatever a 4-gauge wire can handle, I would say 100 amps, no problem. You could probably push to about 150, but I wouldn't do that continuous. But yeah, it's quite a load at 48 volts, so That's like, yeah, 4,800 watts or so. And that'll be just one. So the whole system, the battery bank will be able to handle, say, 300 amps continuous. They will all share. Each 3.6 will have its own 4-gauge wires for paralleling and for the mains tied into main negative terminal. And then we'll go BMS from terminal to the big wire out. And I'll do the same for the negative side. I'll put a 250 amp fuse on it as well. And then to the big wire. So it'll be three 4-gauge wires to one negative post. And then a fuse. And then 2-aught cable coming off that. So the inverter's supposed to be capable, or it's fused at 175, so amps. So, yeah, you know what I mean. Anyways, thanks guys. Got this guy too. This is surge protection, DC surge protection, up to 385 volts. Yeah. See kind of what it says on there. And it just goes in one of the knockouts. Imagine one to positive, one to negative, one to ground. Pretty straightforward. It's got the clamp there. It's got some whatever, a piece of shrink tube, I guess. Pretty straightforward units. And just kind of one goes to your negative bus bar, one goes to your positive bus bar, and one goes to your ground bus bar. And that will also link it will link everything to ground. So you do want to have a ground when you're using this stuff as well. But it's also, this is part of the Magnum system, so had some stuff on it, yeah. So there you go. It's the MNSPD 300 DC. There's also an AC one as well. So yeah, there's an AC version and a DC version. So this is the DC version. Pretty cool. So it's got a bunch of capacitors and stuff in there. LED. Looks, can read the instructions as well. Probably will read the instructions. Not that it looks very complicated or anything like that. That's pretty basic. And just because the panels are going on a steel roof, I think it's best to have lightning protection, especially on the DC side. And I should have it on the AC side as well, but I'll mention it to my buddy, and if he wants it, then he can get it. But I think it's important to protect the batteries and the inverter from the panels. So mainly the batteries, in my opinion. Those are the most volatile thing in the building. And not saying they're flammable or explosive, but some people have bad luck. Not that I've ever had bad luck myself. Like, if I want to see a battery burn, I have to put it in a fire. And I don't know, but there's people that their whole house burns down over stuff like this. I'm also keeping my battery bank low to the ground. It's probably going to be about 2 to 3 feet off the ground at the bottom, and then probably have at least four or 4+ feet to the ceiling, so it's more than enough. Anyways, and I got all the rest of the parts I need to finish the roof. And I got the wire, 50 meters of each, so about 150 feet of each. And so what we're going to do is go into the garage. I'm going to have like a pull-out disconnect like this one, or these ones. 60 amp rated one though. I think these are lower. One of them's a higher, one's lower. I forget. Oh no, okay. Protection by 60 amp max. So it is a 60 amp one, that one too, so 60 amps on a string is usually pretty heavy anyways. So I wouldn't go, I usually like to come in and around as low as possible. So I think I'm coming in at about maybe 20 amps, 25 amps max. And I'm using number 2 gauge wire to pull 20 amps in, 25 amps. So, but it's also 150 feet. Anyways, thanks guys.